Thank you for joining me. Welcome to Camnet TV Main News. I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. The headlines. MKUSHI man burns to ashes without neighbors noticing that his house was on fire. A 14-year-old girl of KAFUE raped by 6 men is currently recuperating at UTH. EDITH NAWAKWI to face a fresh legal suit from accusing HH of instructing his workers to kill someone. And in international news, Chad activist calls for inquiry into killing of protesters. And in sports, TP MAZEMBE players attacked in MBUJI as KABASO CHONGO sustains a head injury. Join me with the main news in detail after this commercial.
2021 has been described as a highly politically charged year. This is because every 5 years the country goes to the polls, and that 5 years elapses with only a few months remaining down to the ballot. The battlefield to appear on the ballot is becoming fertile. A lot of people are expressing interest of appearing on the ballot.
In all this, our interest is to put the duty bearers, the leaders, and those aspiring to task by asking the relevant questions.
If you're an aspiring candidate, be it councillor, mayor, or member of parliament, get in touch with us to get yourself on the verdict.
We go beyond speculation in dealing with policy and governance issues. The right questions are asked to help you make a verdict.
For more details, you can call us on 0962 965883, 0979 753010, or email us info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Join us on Camnet TV
every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 17:45 hours
on a new program dubbed The Verdict.
Remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel. And now the main news in detail. The Zambian Nation's Men Network for Gender and Development has described the 6 men who gang raped a 14-year-old girl of KAFUE recently and left her for dead after chopping part of her left arm as beasts who should not be allowed to roam the streets. Network National Coordinator Nelson Banda wonders what sort of demons would drive full-grown men into inflicting such pain on a young girl like that. Speaking when he was in the company of some psychosocial counselors from the network visited the girl who is admitted at the University Teaching Hospital UTH, Mr. Banda called on the police to quickly find the men who for justice to take its full course.
28th April 2021, Zambians woke up to disturbing news of a 14-year-old girl who was allegedly gang raped by 6 men who took turns and left her for dead. While Zambia still has high cases of gender-based violence, gang rapes are not a usual occurrence in Zambia. The Zambia National Men's Network for Gender and Development National Coordinator Nelson Banda has expressed shock at this development, urging the law enforcers to seriously take up this case and bring the culprits to book. It is alleged that the victim was raped after she was intoxicated with a known substance, making her unconscious. The network, in the company of counselors, visit the victim at the University Teaching Hospital Thursday morning, where the girl is recovering.
The victim we've just from visiting is one of the few who've been found in such vices of defilement, which is gender-based violence. There's a lot which is happening out there in the communities, and these are some of the cases which have just come in the limelight and being reported. So you can imagine a 14-year-old girl, helpless, who was gang raped by 6 men. And there was no way she could have defended herself. As though that was not enough, they amputated her fingers. We hear the mother said that the train ran over the other arm. So she's lost the fingers, she's lost the arm, and now you can imagine the torture, the agony, the trauma she's going through.
Some abusive substance, which she took, and then the gang raped her and left her for dead. Okay, so apart from that, they also cut her arm, I think on the left side, and then her fingers were also cut off. and then she was dumped on a rail track throughout the night. So it took the courage of passers-by who actually pushed her off the rail track so that she's not run over by a train. Kind of men should be locked up, and I'm sure that the police in KAFUE needs to get down on the ground to fish out those beasts who did such a thing.
Mr. Banda further called on politicians contesting in this year's elections to include the fight against gender-based violence in their campaign messages, saying the vice calls for concerted efforts to be won.
Leaders, including the church, should talk about gender-based violence as they do their campaignings, because even those that people they are soliciting for support in terms of votes could be victims.
Meanwhile, UTH Public Relations Officer Natalie Mashikolo says the gesture by the Zambian National Men's Network is a demonstration that there are true good men out there.
The man, he said it was good also. And so when we see men coming in and bring in their support, it gives us a lot of hope that not all hope is lost. And men are not just men because they wear trousers. No, men are men because they think. And so for the men to come here to see Anastasia, these are fathers, brothers, and they've also included the women on their entourage. We're so grateful. Stable. When she came in, actually, she was in a lot of pain, but now we can see the way she's responding. She's able to talk back to you. She's able to smile, those kind of things. Yeah, and she's able to lift her hand. So she's actually responded well to the treatment. And I think it's because people have been coming in and showing her love, and not talking about the situation per se, but just encouraging her and tell her it is well. And those are the words that she needs to hear.
On a good note, management at the Cancer Diseases Hospital have also offered to take up an MRI scan to ascertain the extent of the damage in her spinal cord. Sharon Kalimbola, Camnet News, Lusaka.
In a bizarre circumstance, a 37-year-old man of Kasokota area in MKUSHI district of Central Province, identified as Timothy Miti, has died after a grass-thatched house he was sleeping in caught fire. The incident happened in the early hours of Thursday, where the man was burnt alive, leaving him with cooked intestines protruding. Mr. Kauma has meanwhile expressed shock to learn that no one ever noticed that the victim's house was on fire, leading to his death. MKUSHI Town Council Public Relations Officer Clarence Kauma says rescue attempts by the fire brigade failed as Mr. Miti was already dead by the time the fire brigade team reached the scene. Mr. Kauma, however, says investigations to ascertain the cause of the fire and the level of damage has been instituted.
Very much. So today we had an incident in the district where a man of age 37 years, only identified as Timothy Miti, met his fate. This was around 04:45 hours to be specific. The incident is yet to be discovered on what happened. However, the fire brigade and rescue team that was called by Kasokota Ward Councillor at around 6 hours rushed to the incident scene. But at the time of arrival, they found that the fire had already swept through the two-roomed grass-thatched house. The fire brigade is yet to carry out in-depth investigations to ascertain the cause of the fire and also the extent of the damage. For now, as a local authority, we can only urge residents and the general public to properly take care of all flammable appliances, as this is the surest way of avoiding the reoccurrence of such an incident.
In other news, Forum for Democracy and Development FDD leader EDITH NAWAKWI is set to face another lawsuit from UPND President Hakainde Hichilema for accusing him that he instructed his workers to kill a trespasser at one of his farms in Southern Province. Speaking at a media briefing held in Lusaka, a team of Mr. Hichilema's lawyers, among them Clement Andeleki, Jack Mwimbu and Mashom Chende, says their client in this case, Hakainde Hichilema, has instructed them to proceed with the lawsuit as to hear how he was the mastermind masterminded the killing of a person at his farm by his workers. During the Monday briefing, Ms. NAWAKWI told the nation that Mr. Hichilema's lawyers beat up someone to death at one of Mr. Hichilema's farms under his instructions.
The United Party for National Development Legal Council to start legal proceedings against Forum for Democracy and Development FDD leader EDITH NAWAKWI. This is against her countless accusations against UPND leader Hakainde Hichilema, among others who have been woven into her political fights. The past few months, Ms. NAWAKWI has been on Mr. Hichilema's throats and the entire UPND over the missing of the Hatembo siblings. The icing on the cake were her fresh accusations that HH instructed his two workers to kill someone at his farm.
This matter is not a party matter. This is a matter for an individual called Hakainde Sami Hichilema. He has another matter in Choma High Court where, and to follow up on that, his own workers have accused him of instructing them to murder a person on his farm. This matter is in Choma High Court.
This has forced the names mentioned to instruct their lawyers to take the matter to court. Legal representative Clement Andeleki told a media briefing that a team is preparing a legal suit so that Ms. NAWAKWI can put her facts before the nation in court.
Through my clients, Foster Haryanga and two others, including President Hakainde Hichilema, to take out an action so that whether I can call him President, the lady we respect, EDITH NAWAKWI, can exonerate herself and prove indeed that these people are still going through a criminal prosecution, first and foremost. Secondly, that they made a phone call to President Hakainde Hichilema and informed him that they had caught a trespasser, and HH had told them that they should kill that person. Such statements are not only dangerous, they are not only hateful, they are not only deceptive, but are a total lie.
Meanwhile, Jack Mwembo has called on the police to act professional, especially as the country heads towards the elections.
The police are not above the law. The government is not above the law. They must be seen to be following what the Constitution of Zambia provides. They must follow what the Criminal Procedure Code indicates, and the other laws that affect the rights of individuals. We call upon the Inspector General of Police and his Minister of Home Affairs to strictly follow what the law says. The police should not be seen to be violating the rights of individuals. The police are there to protect the rights of individuals. The police service in this country was established to protect the rights and not violate the rights of individuals. We hope that from now onwards, the police and the Minister of Home Affairs will give direction to their officers and subordinates in ensuring that the law of this country is followed strictly.
Sharon Kalimbola, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Zambia Center for Inter-Party Dialogue ZCID has called on political parties to take precautions of the COVID-19 pandemic as they campaign ahead of the August 12th general elections. ZCID Executive Director Doreen Njovu says political parties must ensure that they adhere to the set health guidelines so as not to put the lives of the Zambians at risk of contracting the disease as they go about with their political activities of wooing voters. Ms. Njovu has further encouraged political players to work in tandem with the Electoral Commission of Zambia to ensure a smooth and safe environment is achieved when campaigning. She says her organization is aware of the fact that the 2021 elections will be held in a manner never witnessed before, stating that efforts from all key players are important in this case.
The CID has in the past months highlighted the fact that Zambia as part of its preparation for the upcoming general elections in August 2021, required a structured and coherent approach to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic in relation to elections and public events such as political rallies, campaigns, among others. The Center is hopeful that the formulation of standard operating procedures developed by the Electoral Commission of Zambia on elections and COVID. I know there is a technical committee that was constituted, and so we are hoping that these procedures will help the situation and settle a lot of uncertainties regarding how public and political parties will engage in the 2021 electoral activities. Further, as a center, we wish to urge all the political parties and other relevant stakeholders to acquaint themselves with the developed guidelines in order to enhance adherence to COVID-19 golden rules and prevent the spread of the pandemic during this delicate period. We know we can't do away with, say, the masses. Gatherings will be there, but it is important to manage them so that they are not high spreaders.
Home Affairs Minister Stephen Kampyongo has directed Inspector General of Police Kakuma Kanganja and all provincial commissioners to deal with all political cadres who will incite and perpetrate violence as the country heads towards the general elections, regardless of political affiliation. The Home Affairs Minister says the country is getting closer to a period when the political climate is getting intense due to increased political activities. Mr. Kampyongo sounded the warning when he commissioned the newly constructed police station and 10 housing units in Shivayunji district of Central Province. Meanwhile, Senior Chief Shakumbila of the Ila-speaking people has praised government for lifting the face of the newly created district by taking massive infrastructure development to the area.
Honorable Minister, you are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It is evident from a number of projects being undertaken, as highlighted above, that the Patriot Front government is committed to providing decent accommodation and conducive working environment for our officers in the Zambia Police Service. Further, you may wish to know that government is still rolling out the construction of more housing units for security wings under my ministry in the second phase of the Ministry of Home Affairs Housing Units project. This will in no time commence when the economy recovers from the turbulences of the COVID-19 and shall cover all the 10 provinces.
Until 2020, when the police force was upgraded to a Grade B police station, this was prompted by high levels of crime, prevalent among them being stock thefts and murder cases, which occurred mostly along the KAFUE river bank. However, since 1968, Shivayunji district has had no decent police structure suitable for police operations. Further, this district has had no decent accommodation for the police officers. Therefore, the commissioning of this police station and the 10 houses has brought a new lease of life and hope to the police officers.
Therefore, His Royal Highness Senior Chief Shakumbila, and on behalf of the entire chiefdom, we are very much thankful, Your Honorable Minister. We had a lot of people who have been in opposition, but through me and our administration, we are fighting hard that this chiefdom, this district should change and face to the leading government of the state.
You're watching Camnet TV's main news. For now, we take our first set of commercials. We'll be back with more news after this.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, downlights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Every day for me means hard work. Going to sell my goods at the local market. To get more customers, I have my secret. Oracle Pure Glycerin. It's soft, smooth, and keeps my skin perfect. And my customers know it. Thank you, Oracle, for my perfect skin.
Making GoTV payments is easier than you think, but first you have to log in. First of all, open the GoTV app, then select your country. Fill in your surname or cell phone number, and then your IUC number. That's it. You can log in. Welcome to your home page. Now click on Pay Now. Select Make a Payment. Next, you will be asked how much you wish to pay. You can do this by clicking on the space next to the kwacha sign and entering the desired amount. All the details of your payment, including account details and amount you are paying, will appear. Make sure everything is in order. Now click on the Ting button under Choose Payment option. When the Ting window pops up, click on OK and then Pay Now. Now select Preferred Card Payment or Mobile Money option. When the Make a Payment window opens, click on the pink Pay Now button. Now, you simply authorize the payment by clicking on Send Prompt, which will send a prompt to your mobile number. Once you've received the prompt on your phone, simply enter the unique PIN and you are done. GoTV. Love it.
Welcome back. We continue with the rest of the main news. A 31-year-old brother to the late Dr. Tasila Tembo, who has told the Lusaka High Court during cross-examination that the day his sister went missing, he did not notice anything suspicious between his sister and murder-accused Nigel Mwaba that would make him suspect that something was wrong between the two. Testifying in a case in which a 33-year-old army officer, Lieutenant Nigel Mwaba, is accused of killing his girlfriend, Dr. Tasila Tembo, in October 2020, Lonjezo Tembo confirmed to Judge Wilfred Muma that he had a good relationship with the accused, and when he had challenges, he could confide in him and had no idea that he would allegedly commit such acts.
Trial has continued before the Lusaka High Court involving 33-year-old Army officer Lieutenant Nigel Mwaba, who is accused of murdering his girlfriend, Dr. Tasila Tembo, in cold blood. This horrific murder case, described as a passion of crime, is said to have occurred in October 2020. Unforgettable case that has left people with so many unanswered questions. Thursday morning, the young brother to Dr. Tasila Tembo, who was the last person to see her with murder-accused Lieutenant Mwaba, told the Lusaka High Court in his cross-examination that he did not notice anything suspicious between his sister and the accused. However, during his testimony in chief, Lonjezo Tembo testified that on the 23rd of October 2020, he was told by his sister to accompany her and the accused. They went at a total filling station in Ibex Hill, where the murder-accused Lieutenant Mwaba sent him to buy a 6-pack of Castle-Lite beer. He narrated that after taking the beers to the car, he was again sent to buy 2 more beers and bread, but upon returning, he found the car gone. A few minutes later, he received a call from the accused, who informed him that he had gone to pick up his car at a nearby school and he was going to come back to pick him up. The witness testified that after waiting for them for about 3 hours, he decided to call his friend, who gave him a lift back home around 03 hours. And when he tried calling them, both their phones were off. He was later called on a Wednesday that his sister's body was found in a decomposed state At Mikango Barracks Cemetery, the court also heard that the late Dr. Tesla Tembo was having challenges in her relationship with murder-accused Mwawa, who was a boyfriend at the time of her death. In this case, the lieutenant stands charged with 1 count of murder, contrary to the laws of Zambia. The matter has since been adjourned to the 8th of June 2021 for continuation of trial. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
A governance activist, Isaac Mwanza, has petitioned the Attorney General through the Constitution Court, seeking a declaration that the Sesheke parliamentary seat become vacant from 12 April 2021 following the conviction of the incumbent MP Romeo Kangombe. This is in a matter in which Mr. Mwanza is challenging the decision made by the Speaker of the National Assembly, Patrick Matibini, on the 16th of April 2021 that Mr. Kangombe still remains a member of Parliament after his conviction by the Chinsali Magistrate Court on a charge of assault. The petitioner states that the decision by the Speaker contravenes Article 72(2)(b) of the Constitution and should be declared null and void. Mr. Mwanza also seeks a declaration of an order of mandamus directing the Attorney General, Minister of Finance and the Clerk of the National Assembly to recover in full any monies paid to Mr. Kangombe from the 12th of April 2021.
Despite the ruling by the Speaker of the National Assembly, debate as to whether the Member of Parliament for Sesheke, Romeo Kangombe, is eligible to maintain his position in Parliament or his position be declared vacant following his recent conviction by the Chinsali Magistrate Court on a charge of assault continues, with now the matter being taken to the Constitutional Court. Isaac Mwanza, a governance activist from Young African Leaders Initiative YALI, has filed a petition before the Constitutional Court with the prayer that the court pronounce an order declaring the decision of the Speaker dated 16th April 2021, which has allowed Mr. Kangombe to maintain his parliamentary seat, now and void. Mr. Mwanza states that Mr. Kangombe is still serving a 2-year jail sentence, hence his continued stay in Parliament is a breach of the Constitution. The governance activists want an order of mandamus directed to the Attorney General, who he has cited as the first respondent, the Minister of Finance and the Clerk of the National Assembly, to recover in full from Mr. Kangombe, who he has cited as the second respondent, any monies paid to him since his conviction date. And speaking on Camnet TV on a program called The Verdict, Mr. Mwanza states that no one is above the law, not even the Speaker of the National Assembly.
You realize that when this constitution came into being in 2016, it gave each and every citizen the right to defend the constitution. And defending the constitution means that we must be vigilant as the citizens towards decisions which are being made in the corridors of power. As I stated earlier, the Speaker of the National Assembly is not above the law. The judges of the court are not above the law. They interpret the law, they contribute to the law, but we have a constitution, which is the supreme document. All institutions are subject to that constitution. So in defense of the constitution, we know that our constitution provides for how a seat will be declared vacant.
On Monday, the 12th of April 2021, Chinsali Magistrate Court convicted UPND Sesheke Member of Parliament of assault of 2 police officers and was convicted and slapped with a 2-year suspended sentence. This brought debate inside and outside Parliament as to whether the Member of Parliament was then eligible to maintain his position in Parliament or his position was to be declared vacant since he had been convicted of a criminal offence. KAFUE Member of Parliament Tutwa Ngulube raised a point of order in Parliament, questioning the Speaker of the National Assembly, Dr. Patrick Matibini, whether Mr. Kangombe was in order to maintain his seat in Parliament or not, but the Speaker ruled that the Chinsali Magistrate Court saved Mr. Kangombe's stay in Parliament by slapping a suspended sentence and a fine of 10,000 kwacha. For now, we can only wait and see how the case unfolds. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
In other news, Minister of Water, Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection Raphael Nakachinda has charged that Zambia stands to benefit more from being a member of Zambezi Water Cost Commission, ZAMCOM, through peace dividends resulting from a continuing and expanding open dialogue, problem-solving and conflict avoidance resolution processes facilitated by ZAMCOM's institutional arrangements. Mr. Nakachinda also says this may help reduce poverty through catalyzing investment in improved, coordinated and sustainable water resources management and development, including the benefits of coordinated operation of new and existing water infrastructure. The minister was speaking when he gave a presentation on the water sector to the Council of Ministers Thursday morning. The Zambezi Water Cost Commission, ZAMCOM, is a trans-boundary water cost commission that falls entirely in SADC region, covering 8 countries, namely Angola, Botswana, Malawi, Mozambique, Namibia, Tanzania, Zambia and Zimbabwe.
For Zambia as follows. 1. Peace dividends resulting from a continuing and expanding open dialogue, problem solving and conflict avoidance and resolution processes facilitated by ZAMCOM's institutional arrangements. Poverty reduction through catalyzing investments in improved, coordinated and sustainable water resource management and development, including the benefit of coordinated operation of new and existing water infrastructure. Increase regional economic benefits through economies of scale from transboundary cooperation. Regional approaches enabling optimal planning and development of water-related infrastructure to increase regional benefits and reduce costs. Development and agreement of basin-wide joint investment programs involving beyond unilateral or bilateral approaches with more limited benefits. Enable co-ownership of infrastructure with shared benefits and costs. Jointly addressing external threats to the region, such as the negative impact of climate change. Increased energy security through jointly investing in hydropower production.
Zambia has hailed the German government and the Worldwide Fund for Nature for the implementation of the COVID-19 relief project that was launched last year. Minister of Tourism and Arts Rono Chitotela, German government committed 1.3 million euros as part of its broad support to the CASA partner states. He made the remarks during the handover of vehicles and equipment for the Kavango Zambezi Transfrontier Conservation Area CASA project on mitigating the negative effects of COVID-19 on tourism-dependent communities in the Zambia component of the CASA today. The minister said the project is supporting park management efforts of the Department of National Parks and Wildlife in the KAFUE, Mosutunya and Siomangweza National Parks, as well as 10 game management areas. And German ambassador to Zambia, who is also special representative to COMESA, Ambassador Anne Wagner-Mitchell, in a speech read for her by head of cooperation Christopher Ritz, said Germany is happy to support Zambians as their conservation efforts. And WWF country director Nachila Nkombo said the vehicles are meant to accelerate the implementation of other planned activities such as increased conservation-related operations, community livelihood interventions, human-wildlife conflict mitigation, and ensuring that distribution of COVID-19 prevention parks to 30,000 needy people in 8 game management areas.
Just open it. Yeah, nice one. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, so the car can actually open now. Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you can see the engine is working. It's a brand new vehicle. Nice one.
3 vehicles and the COVID PEEs bought under the COVID-19 response projects and 1 vehicle and assorted patrol equipment from Mlowezi and the Stifuro management area bought under Kaza KFW FS3 project. Therefore, it is my conviction that these vehicles and equipment will be put to good use. They will help the Department of National Parks and Wildlife to manage and conserve our wildlife resource in the most judicious manner that benefits the community in whom we are operating.
The German government remains committed to support the Zambian people to control the outbreak of the pandemic and also and especially to mitigate the economic and social consequences of the crisis. We know that the tourism and conservation sectors are major Zambian assets, providing livelihoods for thousands of Zambians while helping to protect Zambia's unique natural treasures.
This project is led by the Ministry of Tourism and Arts under the Department of National Parks and Wildlife and is funded by the German government through KFW. This project was launched on the 30th of September 2020. I must also take this opportunity to really commend the German government because they have been a consistent partner around conservation and sustainable development efforts, including various projects that are implemented by WWF in Zambia.
An association calling itself the Zambia Aged Persons Association has been launched with the intention to advocate for better living standards of the aged people. Association National Secretary Cyprian Pombolokani says the association will stand as a mouthpiece of the aged people with the objective of providing materials and financial support to members through productivity. Mr. Pombolokani states that elderly persons have been neglected by both families and society, hence the need to rehabilitate and integrate them in society. Mr. Pombolokani has since observed that the social cash transfer program meant for the elderly is not enough and has advised government to help identify who the beneficiaries are.
The association feels that the aged people have been neglected by both families and society. Therefore, the aged people need to be rehabilitated and integrated into society by encouraging them that they can still contribute to the national development by involving them into entrepreneurship. I know it is very devastating to be called a witch, indoshi, or mfwiti by the young generation. The plights of the aged people need to be addressed in accordance with the United Nations Resolution 46 of 1991, which calls for all member states to uplift the living standards of their older persons. We would like to thank the PF government for cash transfer program. We feel the amount is inadequate and that it needs to be increased. And we ask the government to include us in identifying the people in this program. We also want to thank the government for giving us the National Aging Policy document of May 2015. We wish to urge the government to implement what is in the National Aging Policy and be translated into law.
We'll take our second break. Coming next is international and sports news.
In this fast-paced era of industrial boom and population growth, there is need to invest in smart ways of managing electricity and water consumption and reducing utility billing costs associated with the postpaid billing system. At Savenda Electronics, we manufacture right here in Zambia different types of high-quality smart electricity and water meters to customer specifications. Savenda Electronics water and electricity meters help you monitor your usage and gives notifications such as low units, tampering, low battery, and many other features. These easy-to-use meters makes it easier to buy units even in these COVID times and top up just from the comfort of your space. Favorable contract terms are available to both electricity and water utilities. For more details, get in touch with us on the following numbers: 0956 580 349 or 0977 498 318. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
You get Showmax, you get instant access to full seasons of award-winning series and blockbuster movies.
It's amazing.
You get shows you won't find anywhere else, like Showmax Originals.
Thank you so much.
You get awesome kids shows.
Freaking awesome.
Amazing documentaries.
You literally cannot make this up.
And now, you also get live world-class sport from Supersport.
Everything's under control.
All ready and waiting for you to watch online on your smartphone, tablet, desktop, or smart TV, wherever and whenever you like.
Whoa.
So what are you waiting for? Go to showmax.com to sign up. From football seasons to binge-worthy seasons, you'll get it all on Showmax. One platform, endless entertainment.
2021 has been described as a highly politically charged year. This is because every 5 years, the country goes to the polls, and that 5 years elapses with only a few months remaining down to the ballot. The battlefield to appear on the ballot is becoming fertile. A lot of people are expressing interest of appearing on the ballot.
In all this, our interest is to put the duty bearers, the leaders, and those aspiring to task by asking the relevant questions.
If you're an aspiring candidate, be it councillor, mayor, or member of parliament, get in touch with us to get yourself on the verdict.
We go beyond speculation in dealing with policy and governance issues. The right questions are asked to help you make a verdict.
For more details, you can call us on 0962 965883, 0979 753010, or email us info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Join us on Camnet TV
every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 17:45 hours
on a new program dubbed The Verdict.
Remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel. Thank you for staying with us. Now getting into our international news. At least 5 people were killed on Tuesday in anti-government protest in the capital N'Djamena and southern Chad against the military government that took power after the death of the president Idriss Deby a week ago. The crackdown of demonstrators has prompted international condemnation and calls for investigations. Demonstrators have been demanding a return to civilian rule.
Emotional scenes at the Garandi family home. Their son, 17-year-old Sena, is one of 5 people killed during anti-government protests in Chad on Tuesday. His family says he was only a spectator watching a confrontation between demonstrators and security forces in the capital N'Djamena.
Shots rang out, a bullet broke his arm and then it went through his stomach. As he fell, gas canisters were also fired into the crowds. He was rushed to hospital and that's where he died. They killed my brother and they may as well have just killed me too.
Dozens were arrested during the protests, many of whom say they were just bystanders.
I was waiting for a motorbike. Suddenly 2 soldiers appeared and arrested me. They searched me and took my phone and a bottle of water. They said the bottle of water was a sign I was a protester. They beat me up and dumped me, and then I was beaten up again. After questioning, I was handed to another group where I had even more severe beatings.
The crackdown on demonstrators has prompted international condemnation and calls for investigations.
Although the protest organizers say they will keep up the demonstrations, Tuesday's crackdown by the military has forced protesters off the streets. The city appears to be calm for now, with most shops and markets open. But the excessive use of force has drawn criticism from Chad's allies, including France.
Chad is now facing an uncertain future. Its long-term president, Idris Deby, was killed last week during fighting with rebels in the north, according to the military. The same rebels who had threatened to march on the capital. Immediately after his death, his son, General Mohammed Deby, was announced as his successor. The constitution was suspended and a military council was set up, a move strongly rejected by the opposition here. But the violence that followed the elections in early April and the protests that came after the military takeover have further divided the country. Chad's new military leader has promised to start a national dialogue to unite Chadians. But it's not clear if his promise is enough to end the latest cycle of violence in a country with a history of rebellion, tribal conflicts and military interventions. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera, Jamena.
In another international item, an investigation has been launched into how British Prime Minister Boris Johnson funded renovation to his apartment in Downing Street. The Electoral Commission, the UK's political spending watchdog, says it has reasonable ground to suspect an offence may have been committed. It follows weeks of allegations of government cronyism. It has been alleged that Johnson first tried to get wealthy supporters to pay for the work, then that his political party loaned him the money. If so, that would have been made public. Johnson owes much of his political success to a Teflon-like quality, surviving controversies that would have torpedoed the careers of lesser contemporary politicians.
Downing Street, the very heart of Boris Johnson's government, is in turmoil. Among a stream of damaging leaks and revelations in recent days, the question of exactly how the renovations of Johnson's Downing Street apartment were paid for have been front-page news. It's been alleged that Johnson first tried to get wealthy supporters to pay for the work, then that his political party loaned him the money. If so, that should have been made public.
Prime Minister!
The Electoral Commission is now involved, and at the weekly session of Prime Minister's Questions, the opposition Labour Party smelled blood.
Who initially, and Prime Minister, initially is the key word here, who initially paid for the redecoration of his Downing Street flat?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I think I've answered this question several times now, and the answer is that I have covered the costs. I have met the requirements that I've been obliged to meet in full.
What do we get from this Prime Minister and this Conservative government? Dodgy contracts, jobs for their mates and cash for access. And who's at the heart of it? The Prime Minister, major sleaze sitting there.
Again and again, Johnson wouldn't clarify who had paid the initial invoice, repeating only that he personally had covered the costs. Regional and local elections are just a week away, and opinion polling suggests the controversies are starting to affect voter sentiment.
Again, you're getting a pattern where at some point his credibility as Prime Minister will evaporate. And people got to ask, do we want somebody of that kind of abject moral character as Prime Minister?
At the core of this crisis is a bitter dispute between Boris Johnson and this man, his former closest advisor, Dominic Cummings. Downing Street accused Cummings of being the source of many of the recent damaging leaks. Cummings strongly rebutted that, publishing an explosive blog which concluded that his former boss fell far below the required standards of competence and integrity. Boris Johnson owes much of his political success to a remarkable Teflon-like quality, the ability to survive controversies which would have brought down other lesser contemporary politicians. It's almost as if different rules apply to this Prime Minister. But that doesn't mean that the rules don't exist. And in this Electoral Commission, there is a watchdog prepared to apply them. Paul Brennan, Al Jazeera, Westminster.
We now get into sports news. BBC's Kennedy Gondra reports that Zambia's footballer KABASO CHONGO is nursing head injury after his TP Mazembe's side were attacked by rival supporters in the Democratic Republic of Congo on Wednesday. Mazembe were playing FC Saga Belende in MBUJI, Central DRC Congo, where they scored a late win, something that displeased the host supporters. The supporters then started stoning the Mazembe entourage, leaving 4 players injured, including Mr. CHONGO. Mazembe, who are best in Lubumbashi, are hoping to defend the league, though they are second after Kinshasa best AS Vita, who are current leaders. Je tiens l'héritier. Attention. In another sports item, a Football Association of Zambia FAZ interim manager Brian Mlinga has warned football clubs allowing fans at their stadium to watch matches. Mlinga says no club should allow fans in the stadium in view of the COVID-19 pandemic or face disciplinary charges. Speaking in an interview, Mlinga states that despite indication by the Minister of Youth and Sports and the Ministry of Health that they are considering fans to be allowed in stadiums during games, football clubs should note that no fan is allowed at the moment and should not try to abrogate these health guidelines.
The Minister and the officials at Ministry of Youth and Sport, as well as Ministry of Health, have indicated that they may allow fans back into the stadium. We do not want to jeopardize that. So advising all clubs, whatever the circumstances or whatever reason they may have, fans are not allowed in the stadium. And if we see fans in the stadium, we will take immediate action. We're writing something today, it may be circulated to the clubs, and we're going to make it very, very clear. Anybody who allows fans in the stadium, action will be taken.
That sports item brings us to the end of Camnet TV's main news, but before we go, the headlines once again. MKUSHI man burns to ashes without neighbors, not seeing his house was on fire. A 14-year-old girl of KAFUE raped by 6 men is currently recuperating at UTH. EDITH NAWAKWI to face a fresh legal suit from accusing HH of instructing his workers to kill someone. In international news, Chad activist calls for inquiry into killing of protesters. And in sports, TP Mazembe players attacked in MBUJI as KABASO CHONGO sustains head injury. Before we go, here is our Camnet verse of the day, which is coming from the book of 2 Corinthians 5 verse 20 to 21, and it reads, "Therefore we are ambassadors for Christ, certain that God is appealing through us. We plead on Christ's behalf, be reconciled to God. He made the one who did not know sin to be sin for us, so that we might become the righteousness of God in him." Thank you for joining me. I am Precious Mzeya Sakaleji. Continue watching Camnet TV, not just another channel.